Meanwhile, in France, which has seen huge riots, and Paris is basically a third world country now.
Yes.
It is.
Now,
Paris is
did you
basically
see
a third
that
world
video
country. What?
that happened in England? That dude had his child with him in a stroller, and he was stabbed in the neck
Yes.
and killed.
Yes.
Yep.
Street by some, I think it was
Somalis or
a
something.
sand-oriented individual.
Listen, they're very, very stabby over there in the UK.
Life is cheap to them. Life doesn't mean anything to these people. I keep saying this over and over again. They're basically feral. They don't have any concept of society or culture the way that we have a concept of it. Life doesn't mean anything to them except for their own. And even then, they'll do reckless, stupid things and get themselves killed left, right, and center. That's something you're very familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see much of that because mostly my time was spent hunkered down in dark places with antennas.
No, I sent
Yeah, you got them over there.
I sent a couple companies of dudes to Northern Africa.
Yeah.
And we got them ready for the skinnies, was
Right.
what they call them.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's all kind. I trained guys for having to deal with the motorcycle shooting. There's a guy in the passenger, and they roll up and they shoot in.
Yeah, that's common.
It's very common all over.
Very common.
All over the place. I had to deal with that.
Yeah.
I sent my teams forward with grizzly bear spray.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking effective.
They don't know what that is over there either. So
no, they think you're spraying battery acid on them, but they're totally fine. Mm-hmm. But the bear spray, you can cover a whole crowd and get out of the area. I mean, we sent them with CS gas grenades, the whole deal, which I'm going to be honest, the military gets kind of crazy about using CS on civilians, but
it's not CS, it's bear spray.
Yeah, bear spray. I'm talking about actual CS, which was I had to Green Beret Express that shit. Listen, I'm not sending people into a situation where they could fucking die unprepared. I'm just not doing it.
Did you send silly string too?
I did not. That would have been great.
Yeah. Tripwires. You take a can of silly string with you, and if you have to go anywhere near a building, you go. And if there's any wires or tripwires or anything like that, the silly string gets on those.
Or shaving cream.
Yeah. The guys that from my MOS that were going over, they were coming back. Can you send us like a case of silly string? And that's where I learned that from. I didn't actually get to do that bit myself. I'm not sad that I didn't, but
no, we used shaving cream.
Anyway, these people they're feral. They don't care about life. It just is what it is. And there's a lot of that going on in France right now.
And listen, we're going to bring up the stories with the stats. This is not us just being, oh, we hate these people. We don't hate anyone.
I don't hate them at all.
We're just telling you the truth.
I don't want to get
situation. The truth on the ground. This is what it is over in Europe. And that is coming here.
Yes. Yeah. There was, let's see here. France's far right changed the debate on immigration. For the first time since its founding, France's anti-immigration and National Rally Party has clawed its way within arm's reach of governing. The far right party's rise has fundamentally changed France's immigration debate, dragging besieged President Macron's once liberal coalition far to the right, while bringing together a bloc of left-wing parties united by the desire to give undocumented immigrants a legal pathway to what on earth is prompting? I want to know where the pathology is here. That it's okay to let hundreds of thousands of invaders into your country.
Yeah.
How do you create a pathology like that?
Well, number one, they use the word far right. So that's guilt and shame language to get people to be silent and I'm not that.
Yeah.
That's one way.
I am now because of them specifically.
Yeah. But I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, a lot of the shit we have going on is because they use buzzwords to silence people.
Yes, that is their favorite thing in the world to do, is to silence people.
Yeah, and well, this is what's really taking place. Is the buzzwords to silence people are starting to lose effect.
Yes.
And now we're seeing them trying to ban freedom of speech. So you can't talk about it.
We're gonna get to that specifically, and I'm worried that it's going to start showing up in America. And I hope we have enough sense to do what Solzhenitsyn recommended, where when they show up at the door, we're waiting for them on the other side of the door.
I got you. It's not going to detail
It's writing by a guy who wrote this like 100 years ago.
I got you, but still.
I'm quoting a writing from 100 years ago.
All right.
That guy's dead.
I understand, but it is what it is.
So the French are finally getting fed up with all of this too, is the long and short of this. Speaking on the island of Seine off Brittany's coast, for those of you who don't know, England, yeah, that portion of France that's like right below England across the channel there, that's Brittany.
Because it used to be part of England back in the day.
That's precisely correct, and that's where all the stories of King Arthur and all of that come from. They rode through Brittany, and that was their territory, and William the Conqueror, 1066. Down the rabbit hole we go.
Argincourt, baby.
Agincourt.
Okay.
Agincourt.
All right. We're not going into history lesson.
But the breach, dear friends.
I love that.
We few, we happy few, we band of brothers.
Yeah. All right.
Whose men famously took their boats to join the ragtag Free French forces in neighboring Britain following General Charles de Gaulle's call to resist the Nazi occupation. French President Macron on Tuesday made his own appeal to the French people amid his usual calls to the public to reject extremes of the far-right National Rally and the left-wing New Popular Front. The pro-business president let slip a word he'd never said before, at least in public. The New Popular Front program, he stressed, was totally immigrationist. We have a new ist.
A new ist.
You're an immigrationist.
I'm an istophobe igot. I cover everything.
That's fine.
There are no more fucks, shits, or dams to give.
I have an entire bucket of offs for you to fuck.
Thank you. I'd rather not, but I understand.
They're proposing to abolish the laws that allow us to control immigration, which means just have the border completely open. Mm-hmm. Macron is no stranger to the word immigrationist. It's been spat at him and other liberal or left-wing politicians many times over the years by figures from France's far-right nativist movements. The word itself implies conspiracy, a supposed political plot to open France's borders to an invasion of immigrants bent on outbreeding France's white Gallic majority. That's exactly what's happening. It's literally what's happening. Why? That's exactly what's happening. Why do these people, how do you turn on your own people like this?
Because
I don't get it.
We have the globalists think we have too many people on the planet.
I agree with them, but not in the way they think that I do.
They're pumping these people into these countries because they're planning on shaking the jar.
They're planning it. They're going to shake the jar.
Because guess what? They're going to pump these people into the country, even this country.
Yes.
Then they're going to destroy the monetary system.
That's already done in our case.
Not yet. It could get way worse. They destroy the monetary system, and then you have everyone fighting for resources, thus shaking the jar. And then we have, 15% of the population is feral from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. Next thing you know, you're going to be paying 500,000 dongs for a loaf of bread.
I'd rather not.
The RN's unprecedented success in this month's European elections, which pushed Macron to call snap legislative elections at home, has been a stark reminder of how central immigration has become Europe's political debate since the 2015 refugee crisis. There was never a refugee crisis. That's when the NGOs started funneling all of the invaders into European countries. And now they're doing it to us at the border of Mexico. Have you ever been to the border of Mexico? Not
yes.
You personally.
Okay.
Our gentle viewers out there.
Yeah.
It's desert. I was stationed at Huachuca. You've been to Huachuca.
Oh, the hot house?
The hot house.
Yes.
5,400 feet up. You get there for the PT test. We got there.
You better acclimatize.
We got there, looked at the weather forecast for the next day before BNOC started, and we all made a decision. We're taking the PT test at 3 o'clock in the morning on the airstrip. And the sergeant major was like, oh, okay. We all showed up. Everybody took the PT test and passed. Nobody wanted to take it during the daytime.
No, but even at 5,000 feet.
Dude, I was gassed. Yeah. On the run.
I couldn't even do it now. I'm old.
Yeah. Oh my God. It
would take me like 2 months to get in shape for that.
Yeah. Yeah. You those of you who think you can run out there, if you haven't run 2 miles at speed at 5,400 feet elevation, it's a kick in the dick.
Oh my God.
it's a kick in the dick.
Not good.
This whole thing with the French finally standing up, I'm surprised it's taken this long. Blood or soil in 2022, immigrants made up just over 10% of France's population. That's enough to overwhelm.
Yes.
That's enough to overwhelm. We have those numbers here. It's already happening in Ireland. It's happening in England.
You can do it with 3%.
Yes, 70% of London is no longer English.
Yep.
They are no longer white. 70% of London. Immigrants made up just over 10% of France's population, with a little over a third having already obtained French nationality. Interior Minister Darmanin said in 2021 that between 600,000 and 700,000 undocumented migrants were living in France. So we have a number now, around 700,000 invaders. Potentially half as many, he stressed, in the neighboring UK. I doubt that strongly. I think the number is higher, probably around 400,000 or 500,000 at this point. Unsurprisingly, for a party that has painted what it calls uncontrolled immigration as a relentless assault on French culture, identity, and heritage, there is an average of 2 church burnings a week in France right now.
Really?
And France has some of the oldest churches in the world.
I know. I studied them when I was in college.
Yeah.
I took that class instead of taking the propaganda, mind-numbing indoctrination classes.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. They're
And
all
listen,
being burned.
And guess what? Once you burn that down, you can't really replace it.
No, it's gone.
Because that expertise doesn't exist anymore.
No, nobody knows how to do that anymore. I shouldn't say nobody, but there's probably like 3 people in the world.
Very few.
Who know how to do anything remotely like that anymore. Perhaps the most drastic of these measures would be abolition of France's droit de sol, the right to dirt is basically what that means, droit de sol, which automatically grants French nationality at 18 to people born on French soil to French parents, provided they have lived in France for at least 5 years since the age of 11. Instead, automatic French nationality would be restricted by blood, granted only to people born at least one French parent. Without this change, the proposal reads, no condition is put on obtaining French nationality. No love of the homeland needs to be shown. Then you don't have a country anymore.
Correct.
Everything is just dirt and people.
There you go.
Blood and soil means a lot.
Yep.
Blood and soil means a lot. It just does deal with it.
I mean, we have the same problem here as well.
Yes. We at least have a much stronger tradition of assimilating people, but the lie, which began in 1913, I want to say, when they started allowing immigrants in from the Slavic countries, is when they have 1928.
1928,
they started allowing people in from the Slavic countries. The second they did that, whole swathes of the United States became those people, and they're completely different than the Europeans and everything.
Wow.
And then in 1965, they just cut all of that, and now they have lotteries. They've had lotteries for decades.
Well, we did have Pole Town here in Michigan. It's not.
I love myself some good punchkis.
Yeah, I know, but it's not Pole Town anymore. They've assimilated into the.
It's entirely Yemeni.
Yeah,
it's entirely Yemeni, and the best part here is when Hamtramck, the town that he's talking about, tried to do gay pride stuff. The new all-Muslim government of this formerly Polish neighborhood completely turned on the alphabet queer community and threw them out. And they pitched a huge fit, and the Muslims were like,
we don't care.
Feel free to blow it out your ass. This fundamental change would be accompanied by Bardella calls to a drastic cut in immigration levels through measures such as withdrawing residency from migrants who haven't worked in more than a year, ending family reunification visas, the systematic deportation of irregular invaders convicted of criminal acts, and the total offshoring of asylum applications. We have to protect our countries. This is absolutely insane. And here's what they've gotten for it. France migration chaos.
Are you sharing that? Because I don't.
Yeah, I am sharing that.
Okay.
I'm sharing that, right, Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
This is from a British news channel. France migration chaos. 77% of rapé cases in Paris committed by foreigners in 2023. Shock stats reveal.
Yeah. These are the numbers.
We've known this for over a decade now.
Yep. And here's the thing, though, is if the media apparatus worked, those numbers would be common knowledge to everyone.
Yeah, here's where they try to push it off, though. Watch this. Figures from Paris police headquarters said the crimes were largely committed at night. Okay, that's typical. In tourist hotspots, also typical. But they're trying to kind of blame it on tourists a little bit there, I think. And then near places where drug deals happened. What's missing here? The word invader / migrant.
Yes.
They're deliberately going...
Well, I mean,
turning the knob just enough so that you're not thinking about it.
I know, but the thing is our media apparatus in this country is controlled by 6 corporations.
Yes.
And I bet you if you follow the money, the people who own or run those 6 corporations probably own or run the media outlets in the Western world as well.
Yes.
So the general population is not being told what's happening on the ground.
No.
And it's literally, they're going to find out when it's really bad. And then it's going to take drastic action.
Certain areas are starting to experience that already.
Yes. I mean, look at Ireland.
We're getting to that.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't want to bring it up before time. Man.
That's okay. It's okay. More than 3/4 of rapés on the streets of Paris last year were committed by foreign nationals, according to shocking data from the French authorities. Shocking. 97 rapés were recorded in public spaces in France's capital in 2023, fewer than a third of which have been solved. Yes, because they don't do anything about it even when they do solve it. Did I send you the video of the cop when somebody here, I forget where it was, I think it might have been Seattle, responded to a call about a double homicide, and the cop said, we're not going to do anything about it because he's an illegal immigrant?
I did not see that video.
And all they're going to do is turn him loose. They have the cop, they caught the cop on camera.
Yep.
Saying outright that we've been told that they're just not going to prosecute any illegal invader doing any crime at all. Double homicide.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, that's only going to go so far, and then you're going to wind up with the mob.
Yes.
I mean, when there is no rule of law,
yep,
something is going to replace that vacuum, and it's usually not anything good.
Yeah. Stats from Paris police headquarters said the crimes are largely committed at night. Tourist hotspots near Points de Deal, a place where drug deals happened. More shocking figures revealed that 20 rapistes had already been known to police, while 4 others have been on authorities' radar for other sex offenses. So they do nothing about it.
Correct.
They literally just do nothing about these things, and they let these creatures run free. And like I just said, it's already happening here in the United States, if you missed that. Europe once said the crimes had mainly been committed by men, most of whom were addicted to drugs, homeless, or unemployed, which is code phrase for illegal invaders, of course. The number of crimes has risen by 2% since 2022. I would say that's a significantly larger increase than 2%.
Yeah. Well, again, you really can't believe what the mainstream media is pumping out in this country or across the ocean.
Yeah.
You have to read between the lines. When you look at the title of this, it says 77%.
Yeah.
All right. And then they are scaling it down by removing words and gaslighting you and pointing the fingers at different things that possibly, like maybe they're shifting the blame. Well, you were too close to these bad neighborhoods. And these people, and basically making excuses for these crimes that take place.
Absolutely. That's completely what they're doing. It's the freaking 8/3 in one click.
Yep.
So that you're shooting 100 yards at 25 yards and
just off the silhouette.
Just off.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.